This morning, let's explore Devi, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Wrong button. This is, wow. Okay, I guess this is it. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso, the befuddled, confused, and benighted Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This morning, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars, and wrong button. Good night. If you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as profoundly as Rey Skywalker upon Ajahn Kloss under the guidance of General Leia Organa, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. If at any point during this morning's live stream you have a question, do not be shy. Simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. What's that? You say you're watching a replay and you can't find a chat window? No problem. You get to type your question in the comment area below the video. Namo Lokeshvaraya. If but a single drop of the nectar of your name would have fall upon my ears, they would be filled with the sound of Dharma for countless lives. Wondrous three jewels, may the brilliance of your renown bring perfect happiness everywhere. So, Namo Lokeshvaraya is an invocation of an archetype of enlightened compassion. So it's a mistake to treat an archetype the way a frightened child treats a parent. Better to treat an archetype as simply a means of organizing the four sets of figures of speech that are integral to the mantra meditation we will practice in several minutes from now. If but a single drop of the nectar of your name were to fall upon my ears, they would be filled with the sound of Dharma for countless lives. So what we're being told is to receive these teachings is highly fortunate. And we might look at other people and say, dude, I'm not as pretty as those people. I'm not as wealthy as those people. I'm not as famous as those people. I don't have as many wondrous sexual encounters as those people. And that may be true, but there's different types of riches. There's sexual riches, there is aesthetic riches, there is the riches of power, the riches of fame, the riches of fortune. There's also the riches of meditative wisdom. And that is the path upon which now you tread. Additionally, there is an inferential statement here for countless lives. There are many people who try to frighten other people into doing what they think is right. Do as they say, you'll roast in hell. Gee, thanks, I feel so much better. But we're being told is this path is an easy path and it will create auspicious rebirths. So let's continue with our easy path. Wondrous three jewels, may the brilliance of your renown bring perfect happiness everywhere. So, if we were rigid literalists, we would say the body, speech, and mind of the archetype is the personification of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, the pantheon to whom we beg and simper and ask mercy and beg blessings. However, if we are flexible and laid back, we view the three jewels as nothing more than a metaphor for the Buddha and by the way, the three jewels would be Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. We would view the Buddha as nothing more than an archetype of the historical Buddha's example. The Dharma is simply an archetype or a metaphor of the historical Buddha's instructions. And the Sangha is simply the metaphor of the historical Buddha's direct teachers, students, and indirect students, and so forth and so on, from an unbroken chain down to this present moment. So there's nothing mystical or magical about the three jewels. In fact, we refer to them later on as the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. So we have this very good fortune, this opportunity to traverse, no less master this path of love and wisdom. Doing so generates fabulous good fortune. So we squander that good fortune, investing it in our own beauty, fame, fortune, and power. Or better yet, shall we invest it in the well-being of all beings everywhere? I'd like to spend less than a minute on housekeeping. Every 12 hours, I broadcast a live meditation class without any ads. This channel is supported by the generosity of viewers, just like you. With your help, this channel could come to support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick-and-mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If this speaks to you, and you'd like to help out even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can use the camera on your smartphone to capture this QR code. Or if you're old school, you can just click the link in the description area below the video. It's funny that old school would refer to practices merely 30 years older. 40 years ago, this would have been a pipe dream. Let's prepare for some silent meditation whereby we shall slice through the duality of dread and desire. This is known by many names, such as Zen or Chan or Dhyana or Mahasandhi. It is also known as Ati Yoga or Sutra Mahamudra or Trek Cho Dzogchen. We're going to begin with one verbal preliminary practice. Won't you chant with me? Kind Lama, please come to the crown of this head. Why are you kinder than all Buddhas? Because you're actively present in my life. I'm going to change the word why to how. And let's chant this 2 more times. Kind Lama, please come to the crown of this head. How are you kinder than all Buddhas? Because you're actively present in my life. Kind Lama, please come to the crown of this head. How are you kinder than all Buddhas? Because you're actively present in my life. And now the silent version. During the in-breath, we could silently recite, Lama come, and during the exhalation, we could mentally recite, to this crown. The essence, let us play with the dance of mindfulness and meditation. Mentally reciting, seeing this as the practice of mindfulness. Mentally reciting, relaxing during our exhalation is the practice of meditation. Let's play with some contemplations. The first is a rhetorical question. How could hating feel stressful? Let us now play with a compassionate intention. All beings hating, may I soothe. Remember, we do not need to emote or believe or visualize. If we simply mentally recite these words in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation, we will advance upon the path. It is an inevitability. We come to our second rhetorical question, whereby we train in impermanence. And then we come to our third rhetorical question, where we train in letting go. And let's return to seeing this, relaxing. How could craving feel stressful? All beings craving, may I soothe. How could craving never last? How could craving not be me? Seeing this, relaxing. How could clinging feel stressful? All beings clinging, may I soothe. How could clinging never last? How could clinging not be me? How could vying feel stressful? All beings vying, may I soothe. How could vying never last? How could vying not be me? let us train the heart with chanting. May I yearn to liberate all beings through mastery of the Eightfold Path, with each recitation of the six-syllable mantra. May I rely upon the Buddha's example, instructions, and students, with each recitation of the six-syllable mantra. Kind Lama, may I regret the harm I've done and resolve to do the kind thing, with each recitation of the six-syllable mantra. May I enthusiastically share with all beings all my wisdom, love, health, and possessions, with each recitation of the six-syllable mantra. Kind Lama, please blend with this heart mind with each recitation of the six-syllable mantra, for our minds are one in their empty nature. We come now to this morning's set of mantra meditations, which are actually contemplations. We shall use them to leapfrog over confusions, clinging, and competition. Now, this is known by many names. This is known as Mahayoga, or Mantra Yoga, or Tantra Mahamudra, or Tokal Dzogchen. Once again, I apologize for my pronunciation. I am not a polyglot. Let's begin by reviewing the meaning of the mantra. Om, I invoke the wish-fulfilling Mani jewel of love and the purifying Pei-mei lotus of letting go, supplicating with whom may love and letting go be mastered by all. So, quick review. This is an archetype. The rigid, the fearful, the controlling petition this as a child might petition Santa Claus for gifts and favors. Those instead who traverse the path of being flexible, loving, and laid back view this as an archetype. An archetype with many names, known in Sanskrit as Avalokiteshvara, known in Tibetan as Chenrezig, known in English as either kind eyes or kind gaze, or he who gazes kindly, whichever you prefer. The function of this archetype of enlightened compassion is to organize the 8 figures of speech that we contemplate during our mantra meditation. Let us leapfrog over our clinging tendencies by contemplating letting go's right view of reality, the first fold of the Eightfold Path. As we inhale, we mentally recite a rhetorical question. As we exhale, we physically relax as best we can while chanting the 6-syllable mantra. How is it that as we inhale, our circumstances could appear before us vividly, and yet, as we relax into our exhalation, these exact same circumstances could begin to feel as if they were as non-graspable as a mythical paradise or pure land or Vanti, comprised only of light. How is it that as we inhale, our bodies could feel rather sensual, and yet as we relax into the recitation of the mantra, our bodies could feel as if they were as non-graspable as a Buddha's mythical body of light known as a Sambhogakaya or a Devi or a Yidam. How is it that as we inhale, communication could seem rather resounding, and yet as we relax into our exhalation, this exact same communication could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a mantra comprised only of light? How is it that as we inhale, our minds, perceptions, emotions, intentions, reasonings, recollections, and imaginings could seem rather clear? And yet, as we relax into the recitation of the mantra, these exact same mental functions could feel as if they were as non-graspable as a one-syllable mantra, a seed mantra, a bija mantra, comprised only of light. And now let us leapfrog over our competitive tendencies by contemplating love's right wishes, the second fold of the Eightfold Path. As we chant the mantra, it feels as if time and rays were emitting from Matham Nilsa Swarasanta Sexarable Mantra Rosuriata heart. Lavishing all circumstances, bodies, communication, and minds, with good fortune, health, love, and wisdom centered and spontaneous. Our job is not to visualize or believe or even emote. It's simply to intend, and we can guide our intentions with the cunning use of words. Let us lovingly intend that all circumstances of all beings, real or imagined, we're now as fortunate as a Buddha's fabled paradise or pure land or vati of light. Let us lovingly intend that all bodies of all beings, real or imagined, now be as healthy as a Buddha's fabled body or yidam comprised only of light. Let us lovingly wish that all beings' communication be as loving as a Buddha's communication symbolized by mantra. Let us lovingly wish that all minds of all beings, real or imagined, were now as wise as a Buddha's mind, symbolized by a one-syllable mantra, a seed mantra, a bija mantra. Having completed our 256 repetitions of the six-syllable mantra, let us now explore or contemplate the dance of impermanence and interdependence. Without forcing yourself to visualize, passively experience the following words coming out of my mouth. What if all beings of all worlds blissfully melted into rainbow light, for they were as non-graspable as a Buddha's body, melded into each world? What if each world other than Earth blissfully melted into rainbow light, for it is as non-graspable as a Buddha's paradise, melted into each earthling? What if each earthling other than our neighbors blissfully melted into rainbow light, for they are as non-graspable as a Buddha's body, absorbed into Earth? What if all of Earth other than this neighborhood blissfully melted into rainbow light, for it is as non-graspable as a Buddha's paradise, and absorbed into our neighbors? What if our neighbors, who are as non-graspable as a Buddha's body, blissfully melted into rainbow light that absorbed into our neighborhood? What if our neighborhood, that is as non-graspable as a Buddha's paradise, blissfully melted into rainbow light that now absorbed into our body? What if our body, which is as non-graspable as a Buddha's body of light, blissfully melted into light and absorbed into our speech faculty? What if our speech faculty, which is not as non-graspable as a Buddha's mantra, blissfully melted into rainbow light that absorbs into our mind? What if our mind, which is as non-graspable as a Buddha's bija mantra, blissfully melted into rainbow light that absorbed into infinite openness? We now have a series of 9 contemplations. Let's practice each one for just 1 repetition. Remember, this is figurative. This is all just figurative to help us explore the dance of impermanence, interdependence, and non-graspability. Come on, cursor, where are you? All beings melt into worlds. All worlds melt into earthlings. Earthlings melt into earth. Earth now melts into neighbors. Neighbors melt into here. For my fellow science lovers, this is not literal, but this is figurative. Here now melts into form. Form now melts into speech. Speech now melts into mind. Heart-mind melts into void. Feeling this relaxing. sometimes known as voidness, or emptiness, or shunyata, if you prefer Sanskrit. There are two distinct ways of viewing it, literally or figuratively. Explore it literally and you could get stuck in the trap of endless skullduggery or blind superstition. And so I encourage you to traverse the path of flexibility and being flexible and being loving, and being laid back enough to explore emptiness figuratively. As we breathe in, we notice things rather clearly. As we exhale, those exact same things we noticed could feel less graspable. As we breathe in, our sympathetic nervous system helps us to notice. As we exhale, our parasympathetic nervous system helps us to relax. And we can release or grasp upon what we previously noticed during our in-breath as if it was now, at least temporarily, as non-graspable as a vast empty void, as if it was as non-graspable as the vast empty void, as if it was as non-graspable as a Buddha's paradise or body or Maha Mantra or Bija Mantra comprised only of light. That is why Nagarjuna was fond of teaching that some things are appearing yet void, some things are sensual yet void, some things are resounding yet void, some things are fragrant yet void, some things are flavorful yet void, and functions of mind are clear yet void. Voidness is not nothingness, it's not a literal nothingness, it's just a figure of speech to help us explore what it feels like to let go. Not to shove away, not to forsake, not to undermine our mindfulness, but just to notice and release in harmony with our evolutionary programming. let us seal our practice with some chanting. May all the harm of modest non-humans and so forth be overcome. May they become non-existent. May they be pacified. May they be thoroughly pacified. May all kinds of interferences, diseases, and possessing spirits be pacified. May all be separated from unfavorable conditions, and may all experience favorable conditions and everything excellent. Through this fortune may there be at this time happiness and health. May all mind, speech, forms, and lots be as wise, loving, healthy, and fortunate as kind gazes bija mandra yidam and vati of Lord. May all beings like kind gaze master, being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness, for spontaneous and uncontrived. May all beings like kind gaze master the Eightfold Path as well as liberate others. May each being take auspicious rebirth, master the Buddha's path, and then help all others do likewise. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness, may everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging free. If you feel I have earned it, please type something in the chat window, give this live stream a thumbs up, and share it on social media. In approximately 10.5 hours, we could return to explore perfectionism, anger, and meditation, as well as chant and meditate some more. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.